जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना जमुना तीरा वनचारी जमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना जमुना तीरा वनचारी जमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय राधा माधव राधा माधव जय राधा माधव जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 नित्य गौर हरिबल 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 जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजक आचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतशिष्यमात् अभयचरण अरविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिल प्रभुपाद की ISKCON विवरी फाउंडर आचार्य डिवाइन ग्रेस शिल प्रभुपाद की जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजक आचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतशिष्यमात् भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर शिल प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नमाचार्य शिल हरिदास ठाकुर की श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की श्री गौर निताय की श्री लक्ष्मण सिंह भगवान की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे all glories to the assembled devotees all glories to the assembled devotees all glories to the assembled devotees all glories all glories all glories to Guru and Gauranga all glories to Srila Prabhupada Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-salakaya चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति पदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्णा चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादं सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्नाय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतिष्ठे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकांत राधाकांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं Deving Saraswating Vyasang Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nastiki. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 1, text number 21. Kannakubje Dijakasche Dasipatir Ajamilaha Namna Nasta Sadachara Dasya Sangsarga Dusitaha Kannakubje Dijakasche Dasipatir Ajamilaha Namna Nasta Sadachara Dasya Sangsarga Dusitaha Kannakubje Dijakasche Dasipatir Ajamilaha Namna Nasta Sadachara Dasya Sangsarga Dusitaha. Mataji. Kannakubje, in the city of Kannakubja, Kanauj, a town near Kanpur. Dijaha Brahmana, Kaschit Sam, Dasipatihi, the husband of a low-class woman or prostitute. Ajamilaha, Ajamila, Namna, by name. Nasta Sat Acharaha, who lost all Brahminical qualities. Dasya, of the prostitute or maid servant. Sangsarga Dusitaha, contaminated by the association. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. In the city known as Kanyakubja, there is a Brahmana called Ajamila who married a prostitute maid servant and lost all his Brahminical qualities because of the association of that low-class woman. Purport. The fault of illicit connection with women is that it makes one lose all Brahminical qualities. In India, there is still a class of servants called Sudras, whose maid servants' wives are called Sudranis. Sometimes people who are very lusty establish relationship with such maid servants and sweeping women, since in the higher statuses of society they cannot indulge in the habit of woman hunting, which is strictly prohibited by social convention. Ajamila, a qualified Brahmana youth, lost all his Brahminical qualities because of his association with a prostitute. But he was ultimately saved because he had begun the process of Bhakti Yoga. Therefore, in the previous verse, Sukadeva Goswami spoke of the person who has only once surrendered himself at the lotus feet of the Lord, Mano Krishna Padaravindayo, or has just begun the Bhakti Yoga process. Bhakti Yoga begins with Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, hearing and chanting of Lord Vishnu's name, as in the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Chanting is the beginning of Bhakti Yoga. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu declares, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Kevalam, Kaleo Nastibba Gatirannatha. In this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, the only means of deliverance is chanting the holy name of the Lord. There is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way. The process of chanting the holy name of the Lord is always superbly effective, but it is especially effective in this age of Kali. Its practical effectiveness will now be explained by Sukadeva Goswami through the history of Ajamila, who was freed from the hands of the Jamadutas simply because of chanting the holy name of Narayan. Parikshit Maharaj's original question was how to be freed from falling down into hell or into the hands of the Jamadutas. In reply, Sukadeva Goswami is citing this old historical example to convince Parikshit Maharaj of the potency of Bhakti Yoga, which begins simply with the chanting of the Lord's name. All the great authorities of Bhakti Yoga recommend a devotional process beginning with the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. Tannama Grahana Adivihi. Mukam karati vachalam pangul langhayate giring jat kripatam aham bande Sri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram. The place of this pastime is in Uttar Pradesh, near Kanpur, Kannauj. So it's the headquarters of the glories of the holy name in Satyuga. So yesterday we are discussing what was the topic of discussion yesterday, just to refresh our memory. Anxiety. The main theme was protection of the Lord. That is the subject matter of 6th canto. Poshanam. Krishna protects his devotees. Are you sure about that? How many of you are sure about that? Okay. I'm not asking how much, what is the percentage? I'm not asking that. But some faith is there. Otherwise, why we are here? So Parikshit Maharaj was very worried. He didn't want to see the living entities go to the hellish planets. And they should not come in the jurisdiction of Jamadutas. That is the heart of the pure devotees. So he was asking question, how to do that? People are committing sinful activities. And if you commit sinful activities, you have to go to hellish planets. That is the law. But how to counteract that reaction? That is the subject matter. So Sukadeva Goswami is expertly testing the faith of the disciple. Testing is going on. Till this verse, there is a conversation between Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadeva Goswami. Then Sukadeva Goswami said, what's the problem? If you are committing sinful activities, you go through some atonement, prayashchitya. then things are neutralized. And that's what most of the people do. So karma has 4 varieties: Nisiddha karma, Prayaschitta karma, Nitya karma, Naimittika karma. The 4 aspects of karma. So Nisiddha karma means Papa karma, sinful activity. And how to neutralize the effect, how to counteract the effect of sinful activity? Prayaschitta, atonement. But Parikshit Maharaj is telling, I have been observing, what is the use of this Prayaschitta? Because it's like the elephants bathe in the water, then come up and again put dust on his body. So people commit sinful activities, then do atonement, again sinful activities, again atonement, again sinful activities, again commit atonement. It's a cycle. What's the use? It's not really effective method. So Sukadeva Goswami was very happy with the intelligence of Parikshit Maharaj. Then Karma Kanda rejected. Then he said, Jnana Marga. You should take the process of Jnana Kanda. Then he said, also Jnana Kanda is good, but desire still is there. He gives the example of dry leaves beneath the bamboo tree. It can be dried up by the fire of knowledge, but still desire is continuing. Again, people commit sinful activities. So Jnana is also not working. Then Sukadeva Goswami told, the best and most effective way to counteract this problem is Bhakti Yoga. And after that, Parikshit Maharaj will be told, or now process has started. Sukadeva Goswami is narrating the story of Ajamila and citing the glories of the holy name. And why it is so much important for us. Holy name is very, very important in every yuga. We should not think the chanting of the holy name is only in Kali Yuga. When Dhruva Maharaj was given instruction to do Ashtanga Yoga, along with that he was given a mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. The chanting of the holy name is always the integral part of Bhakti. But in Kali Yuga, this is the process. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Namaiva Kevalam, Kalo Nastebya, Nastebya, Nastebya Gatirannatha. Most powerful process. The process of Kali Yuga. So, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu also explains that karma and jnana cannot uproot the desire of sinful activity. What is the root cause of sinful desire? Avidya, ignorance. What is the meaning of ignorance? Someone is in ignorance. What does that mean? Not having knowledge. So what is the meaning of that? There are many ways it has been explained. Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains in detail this avidya, but not knowing his own position, own constitutional position. It's called Sarup Brahma. Or not knowing the constitutional position of living entity. That is called avidya. So when we are covered over by this ignorance, and the embodiment of that ignorance is our material body, and the connecting factor between the soul and the gross body is the false ego. False ego is the result of ignorance. So from avidya we develop desire. Krishna Bahirmukh hoya ভোগবাঞ্ছা করে, নিকটস্থ মায়া তারে ঝাপটিয়া দেয়। Krishna বহির্মুখ. So Krishna unmukh and Krishna bahirmukh. When we look at Krishna, that is called Krishna unmukh, and when we turn our face away and we stand keeping Krishna at the back, that is Krishna bahirmukh. When Krishna is at the back, who will be at the front? Really? Very good. Good option. So you become attracted. So Krishna Surya Sama Maya Andhakar, Jaha Krishna Taha Nahi Maya Adhikar. Krishna consciousness means again turning our face towards Krishna. Nothing much to do. Just turn away. But very difficult to turn away from Maya because Maya jhapotiya dhare. Embrace is very tight. Very difficult to come out from that embrace. And we enjoy that embrace also, life after life. Some people say, why you are continuing? Because we want to continue. Because there is some taste, otherwise how we can continue? Krishna gives some taste. There is some taste in sense enjoyment. And attraction is very powerful. Very, very powerful. Experience may not be so interesting, but attraction is very, very powerful. Daivi hesa gunamoyi mama maya durata. It's like a magnet. Iron magnet connection. Right? We have the experience also. We have the experience this time immemorial. And we have more realization after coming into devotional service. How it works, very powerful. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, by seeing the doll, I get agitated. That is the power. But we take it very easily. Srila Prabhupada said that our devotees are becoming victimized by Maya because they don't get scared of Maya. They take it very easily. Right? We should not take it very easily. It's very powerful. And we cannot overcome this by our own endeavor. Once Srila Prabhupada declared, Maya cannot touch me. Devotees are so happy. Then he told another statement also. Then one day he was praying very intensely in front of the deity. And after the prayer, everybody wants to know what Guru is doing. Even what he is praying, that has to be revealed also. Kali Yuga. So somebody approached Prabhupada. What was your prayer? What were you praying? Prabhupada said, I was praying to the Lord so that I don't become victimized by Maya. Then the devotee who heard Maya cannot touch me, he was also there. And he was confused. And he told Prabhupada, you told that Maya cannot touch you, but now you are telling you are praying to the Lord so that Maya, you don't become victimized by Maya. Looks like apparent contradictions in your statements. Prabhupada said there is no contradiction. How come there is no contradiction? Prabhupada said, because I pray very intensely, that's why Maya cannot touch me. That is the understanding. By our own endeavor, we cannot overcome the influence, the attraction, the infatuation of the material energy. One Prabhupada disciple told, when I can be free from lusty desires? Prabhupada said, never. He was totally dismotivated, demoralized. He said, I joined ISKCON for that, to become free from lusty desire. But the founder Acharya of this movement is telling, never. How it is possible? He was not satisfied because Prabhupada was testing him. And again, he asked the same question. Prabhupada, how I can be free from lusty desire? Prabhupada looked at him very in a very grave way and said, Govinda Ichha. When Krishna will desire, then you can be free from lust desire. So, principle is the same, that by our own endeavor is not possible. It's completely in the hand of Krishna, because Krishna also declares Maya is very powerful, insurmountable. Prabhupada used the term. But that can be easily overcome simply by taking shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. So sinful desire is there in our heart because of lusty desire. Lusty desire are translated into sinful activities. So the root is avidya, and because of that avidya, we develop sinful desire. There's a cycle. Rupa Goswami explains in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. From avidya, sinful desire, then sinful activity, then aparabdha. The result is not manifested. Aparabdha. Then aparabdha becomes kuta, sinful disposition. Then again sinful desire. It is a cycle. Goes on and on and on. And aparabdha becomes also parabdha, and we get the suffering. Why you are suffering in this world? The root is ignorance. And whole cycle can be dissolved only by the process of pure devotional service, Bhakti Yoga. That is a principle here also. Prabhupada is explaining, and Sukadev Goswami is also narrating in detail the defect of Karma Yoga process or Karma Kanda process, how it is not complete. Then Jnana also has a lot of impact in our life, but it cannot uproot the desire from the heart. But Bhakti Yoga is very, very simple, but very, very powerful to uproot the sinful desire. So this is the Siddhanta. And when that Siddhanta is clear, then Sukadev Goswami is narrating a story. That was a theoretical discussion. Now he is giving practical to make him fully convinced. Unless we have some case study, we don't get convinced. And Sukadev Goswami is adopting that principle and is giving a classic example of Ajamila. So Ajamila was a Brahmana. He was from a very good family. Very good family. But he married, this verse explains what we chanted today. He married to a prostitute. So who is a Brahmana? It is said, Janmana jayate Sudra, Sangaskarat bhavet dija, Veda pathat bhavet vipra, Brahma janati iti Brahman. So Brahmana should be by qualification. Janmana jayate Sudra. By birth, because we take birth in ignorance, so that birth is known as Sudra birth. Then we need knowledge, enlightenment. That's why we need to take another birth, Dija. Sangaskarat bhavet Dija. Human life really begins when we get the initiation from a bona fide spiritual master and get the second birth, that is known as Dija, twice born. And who is the father? Spiritual master is the father, and Gayatri Mantra is the mother. So in that way, a person is born again, twice born. What is the purpose of taking birth again? Why you take initiation? To study Vedas. That's why the third is Veda Pathat Bhavet Vipra. Who is a Vipra? Who studies Vedas. And why you study Vedas? Krishna says, Vedasya Sarver Ahameva Vidya. The purpose of studying Vedas is to know Krishna. So purpose of our study also to understand Krishna. So who is a Brahmana? Brahma Janati iti Brahmana. Who knows the absolute truth is a Brahmana. That is a simple definition. But Bhagavatam says absolute truth can be understood at three different levels. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti, Shabdati. So that Brahmana who knows the impersonal aspect of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, absolute truth, he is known as Jnani Brahmana. Who knows the Paramatma aspect of the absolute truth, he is a Yogi Brahmana. And who knows the personal aspect of the absolute truth, Bhagavan aspect of the absolute truth, he is a Vaishnava Brahmana. The Srila Prabhupada said that the purpose of our Krishna consciousness movement is to create some Brahmanas. What kind of Brahmana? Vaishnava Brahmana, who knows the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is a complete understanding of the absolute truth. What kind of Brahmana Ajamela was not clear, but he was a Brahmana. Definitely was a Brahmana. But he became attracted by seeing an intimate dealings of a man with a prostitute. Although he was trying to control his temptations, but he failed to do so. That is the power of Asat Sangha. Very powerful. That's why you have to be very, very careful. So, in the name of preaching, we take a lot of risk. We should take risk, but we should also know our capacity. I tell this story, is very popular story. Prabhupada encouraged preaching, and because of that encouragement, one devotee came up with a proposal that Prabhupada, getting people is very difficult in Western country. But one place you can get a lot of people, that is Saturday night club. And whole night we can distribute books. A lot of preaching can happen. And he asked Prabhupada, what do you think, Prabhupada, about this idea? Prabhupada said, idea is wonderful, but make sure you come back. Sometimes we develop a lot of enthusiasm, right? Forgetting our own capacity. Maya is very strong. Enthusiasm makes us forget the power of Maya. That's why I give the example that we should preach like a kabaddi player. Nowadays, people don't play kabaddi, right? So, two sides in the kabaddi game. So, one representative of one party goes to the other side and say kabaddi, 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 and touch one person and immediately comes back. Because if he stays for a long time, he'll be that side. He'll lose the game. So, preaching is also a game. Two parties. So, we want to convert, not convert. We want to convince. And to convince people about Krishna consciousness, those who are not convinced. That's why we go. But we should stay very short time, because if you stay for long, then opposite will happen. You will not come back. So Maya is very powerful. Just like whoever goes back to the spiritual world never comes back. In the same way, whoever comes to this world never goes back. Very powerful place. We should not think this is a very weak place, very powerful place. So enthusiasm is very, very important, but at the same time, we have to understand the capacity. So what point we are discussing? Power of association, Asat Sangha. That's why Mahaprabhu said, who is a Vaishnava? Mahaprabhu answered, Asat Sangha Tyag ei Vaishnavachar, Trisangi eka sadhu Krishna bhakta. So Mahaprabhu declared, who can be identified as a Vaishnava? Who gives up Asat Sangha. Right? Kala Krishna Das is the classic example. He was with the Supreme Personality of God. It was the Prem Avatar, embodiment of love. Still, he was attracted. And happened here in South India. Such a powerful effect of illicit association, Asat Sangha. Then Mahaprabhu pulled him out and handed over to Nityananda Prabhu. So, Nityananda Prabhu can deliver anyone. Even Kala Krishna Das was also delivered by Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu is very powerful. Mahaprabhu empowered him so much, and he is the original preacher, the father of our Sankirtan movement. So it is said Mahaprabhu preached by embracing people, by encouraging people, inspiring people to chant the holy name. So on the way to South India, he embraced people and immediately people got love of God. Right? Chaitanya Charitamrita explains. That was the power of Mahaprabhu's embrace. One time, holy name, immediately love of God. But we think, why not now? Now is also available, but we have to chant in their spirit. But Nityananda Prabhu, by glancing at people, love of Godhead was happening. So powerful. So that's why Satsanga is a positive alternative of Satsanga. Mahaprabhu created that Satsanga. Srila Prabhupada has created that Satsanga for us. When you take shelter of the holy name, when you take shelter of Vaishnavas, when you take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam, what happens? We become protected. Ajamil became victimized. But Haridas Thakur, he was tested by Maya personally. One time prostitute, one time Maya. 2 times he was tested. And both the times he became victorious. Why? Because he was completely absorbed in the holy name of the Lord. That prostitute came to change him, but by the association of Haridas Thakur, that prostitute became pure devotee of the Lord. Here, opposite thing happened. Sometimes people ask, we have to preach. That's why, who can preach? Who have taken shelter. Who has taken shelter, they can give shelter. If I don't have any shelter, how can I give shelter? But we are very magnanimous. Although we do not have shelter, but we want to give shelter. And in that process, something else happens. Mistakes happens, and a lot of things happen in the name of preaching, because we become victimized by Maya, because we don't have that kind of potency and we don't take precautions. We have to be very, very careful. When you are dealing, Prabhupada said, just like spiritual life is like a walking on the razor's edge. So when you are walking on a razor's edge, how, you know, who is nowadays very safe to do the saving. But previously it was not like that. If you become little inattentive, what will happen? Blood will come. So spiritual life is like that also. Little inattentive, blood will come out. And we have seen that, we are seeing that, and we will see that. because that is the eternal principle. It happened in Satya Yuga. So one incident of a prostitute intimate interaction, it came in Srimad Bhagavatam. But now you can write Bhagavatam after Bhagavatam, story of Ajamila, right? So that time you have to try for that sin. Nowadays, you don't have to go out. It's already inside. Not only inside your house, inside your pocket. You are carrying Maya in your pocket. Right? Net. We know that, but we are so interested in that net. And if you don't have net, we feel very disgusted. Nowadays, if you go to some place, first time the first thing you'll check, is there Wi-Fi here? Unless there is a net, what is the use of life? Already we are in the net of three gunas. Now we have created most powerful. I think Krishna is thinking, wow, my living entities are very wonderful. They have created wonderful net. So we enter into that net. And this net is like Chakra Buha, Abhimanna. They will invite us to enter. Yadgattana nivartanta tadhama paramam mama. As soon as you enter, you cannot go. Very, very powerful. And we should not think it's for people, those who have not taken the process of Krishna consciousness. It's more important for us, because those who are not practicing, for them not much difference, because they are already having this thing. Prabhupada said, if you are fasting, then problem will be more, attraction will be more. That's like those who are in kitchen, they don't feel so hungry. So those who are in Maya, they don't get that much attraction. But those who are not in Maya, trying to be out of Maya, they become more attracted. Temptations are more. That's why you have to be more careful. And another problem is that if someone is trying very sincerely, there will be tests from the higher planetary system also. Not only Bhuloka, then Indra will be in anxiety. That's why we should pray to the demigods that we are not doing devotional service to go there. So please help us so that they don't become desperate. Because when someone is advancing in spiritual journey, there will be tests from higher planets also. More we advance, test will be more difficult. We should not think, oh, there will be no test. Test will be there always. Just like if we are in standard 1, test will be little simple test. 10th standard, more complicated. 12th standard, much more complicated. Then college, more complicated. Then masters, more complicated. PhD, so more you go up, test will be more and more complicated. In the same way, in our devotional journey also, it's like an exam, it's a journey, so there will be complicated tests. And we can easily pass that test if we take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The difficulties will be there, test will be there, but if we are conscious that Krishna is the protector, then we'll take shelter of that Supreme Personality of Godhead, then we can easily overcome those difficulties and we can face more difficulty. And in that way, when we go through that, then one day we can see Krishna face to face. And that is the success of our spiritual journey. So I'll stop here today. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki, Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Any question or comment you have? Yes, Mike. They are not interested. They want enjoyment. So they will go to a place where they can enjoy better. So they will go to higher planetary system. Yeah, yes. Any other question? No question today. Very good. Hope it was clear. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Any question from there? Thank you very much.
Krishna devotees, I will end the Zoom session now. We will be taking tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Dandavat pranam. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindho vyayevcha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo Namaha. Prabhupada ki jai.